Hello, fourth graders. What instrument do you like to play? What should you do if you want to get better at playing it? Yeah, it's all about that practice word, isn't it? Right? Practice, practice, practice. And that's true about anything. When we're looking at all these math videos, sometimes you're like, you might be thinking, like, oh, this sounds weird. I'm confused. I don't get it. Right? But the way to get better is to practice. And then, of course, to listen as you are learning, which is what you're doing here. What we are talking about today is you can see it here, this fifth grade content. And yeah, we're introducing some things that are a little bit harder here at the end of the year. And you know what? You're awesome and you're ready for that. And so we're going to be multiplying a mixed number and a whole number. So we've been doing a lot of multiplying a fraction times a whole number, right? 3/4 times 5 and 1/6 times 9. But now we're going to do a mixed number and a whole number. So the music, what were we talking about music for? Well, this is it. Last week, Tamika practiced the trumpet for 2/3 hour each day. What was the total number of hours she practiced? Well, you know how to figure that out, right? There's 7 days in a week. And so I want you to be able to tell me how many hours Tamika practiced. Hey, let's check your work. You should have done 2/3 times 7 equals 14/3, but we don't want to leave it like that. We think, how many threes are in 14? 3, 6, 9, 12. So that was 4 hours. And then there'd be 2 extras, 4 and 2/3 hours. Okay. So this is what we've done so far. What we're now going to do is take this another step here. If Tamika keeps practicing the same amount, how much will she have practiced over 5 weeks? So in a week, we just found out 4 and 2/3 times 5. All right, here's what I want you to do. I know you don't know how to do this yet, but I would like for you to do some experimenting. I would like for you to grab a piece of paper, dry erase board, and I would like for you to just experiment and think about, and write this down. Don't just think about it. Write down some ideas that how could we do this problem? All right, let me show you some strategies here. Okay, one strategy is to draw a picture, right? Remember, when we're multiplying, what we're just talking about equal groups. Remember, we can always just take this out and say that this is groups of. So this is really 5 groups of 4 and 2/3. So we can just draw 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. And then if we count it all up, we're going to end up with the answer, right? We know that this is an array that is 5 by 4, so that's 20. And then we're going to have to deal with this, right? Each of these is 2/3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 thirds. How many threes are in 10? 3 with 1 left over. Okay, and then we can put those together. This is one way to come up with the answer, drawing a picture. Here's another way. We could use repeated addition. Okay, and we could add these up. We could add the fractions first like we always do. And when we did that, we'd have 10/3, just like on the other one, which we said was equal to 3 and 1/3. And then add up all of the whole numbers, which was 20. Put those together and get 23 and 1/3. Okay, so repeated addition. Now, one thing I notice about these is that these are very time-consuming ways. Okay, and so I'm going to get into this one's kind of time-consuming also. I'm going to get in, but in a moment, I'm going to get into one that is that I think you'll like a lot better. It might not be this one. You might like this though. One other idea is to change the mixed number to an improper fraction, right? So if we take 4 and 2/3, we would think about, well, how would we change this into an improper fraction? Well, 4/3, right? Or the number 4, not 4/3. The number 4, if I wanted to say that as thirds, that would be 12/3, right? Because 12 divided by 3 is 4. And if I add 2 more to it, then that would be 14/3. So if you wanted to do this way, and honestly, this one can get quite confusing, I would take 5 times 14/3, which would 14 times 5 is 70 thirds. And then I'm going to have to change that back into a mixed number. Not my favorite. Want to see my favorite? It's this. This is partial products. Wait a minute. We did partial products when we were multiplying whole numbers, right? And we did, 247 times 2. And this was partial products, right? We did this part, and then we did that part, and then we did that part. That was partial products. Yeah, same idea. Okay. What we're going to do in this way, we took the number that was by itself and we multiplied it times that, and then we multiplied it times that, and then we multiplied it times that. The idea here will be the same, right? We're going to take the 5. We're going to multiply it times 4, and then we're going to multiply it times 2/3. Right? So 5 times 4 equals 20. 5 times 2/3. 5 times 2 is 10. Keep the denominator the same, equals 10/3. Now I can't leave it like that. How many 3s are in 10? 3 with 1 left over. And now I can add up these two parts. 23 1/3. Hey, what do you think about that? What seems important to remember in this with this idea? Okay, if I had to vote, my thing that I think is the most important is to remember to multiply this number times this part and then do it again, right? Just like you did when you were multiplying these whole numbers. Okay, there's our goal, right? We're multiplying a mixed number and a whole number. So we're going to go ahead and do one in your math journal here. So I would like for you to open up to Math Journal Lesson 7.5, please. Each member of the flute section of the Briarwoods Elementary Band practiced for 2 3/5 hours last week. There are 5 flute players. What is the total number of hours they practiced? Okay, so we're going to be multiplying. We're going to be multiplying 5 for 5 groups of 2 3/5 equals, we'll say H for hours. Now, I will tell you, this says you have to show 2 different ways. I don't need 2 different ways, okay? If you wanted to draw pictures and represent it, that's fine. But I'd rather you get really good at this partial products idea. So in order to do this problem, we're going to split it up. Remember, we're going to do 5 times something and then 5 times something else. Let's have you help me. 5 times what? What number needs to go here? 2. Right? We take this piece. 5 times 2 equals 10. The next one, 5 times what? 5 times 3/5. What is 5 times 3/5? Okay, now if you said 15/5, you're not wrong, but we got to get in the habit of changing that out of a improper fraction. So how many 5s are in 15? This equals 5, 10, 15. This actually equals 3. Okay, remember, fractions are just little division problems. And so now I need to put together my 2 parts. What's my answer? 13 hours. Okay, Now, there are some other things on this page that I'm going to ask you to skip, and that is the stuff about time. I'm just going to put little X's here, and you can do the same thing. Now, if you are really into this and you want to convert it into minutes and seconds, you can, but that's not part of my objective today. Okay, my objective is for you to be able to multiply a whole number times a mixed number. And so, if you want to finish all the other problems and then go back and look at minutes and seconds, you could do that. But we want to work on this objective. So you have number 1 and number 2 and 3 here. And then you have number 4. Same thing. You can just do one way. I don't need to see another way. And I don't need it changed into minutes and seconds. Let me just put a little this here. Okay, but you are working all the way until you get to number 6, and then you can stop. So you have number 2 through 6 to do today. Okay, you can check back at this video. You can always watch again if you forget about how to multiply it times the whole number and then multiply it times the fraction and then put those two parts together. All right, 4th graders, that is all. If you need any help with anything, let me know, and good luck.